Four off the block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and we are now joined by Sam Shweisky back in the United States after his team competing in the U19 World Championships, coach of Team USA. And coach, great start to the tournament for you guys. Started off with 3 straight wins, hit a little bit of a skid, but you were able to rebound towards the end. How would you assess your team's performance in the tournament?
I think overall we were really pleased. I think I got to give credit to associate head coach Brad Keller from UCLA and assistant coach Steve Edwards from Cal State Northridge. They just did an incredible job putting in some really good offensive and defensive systems and sort of getting us ready for each match with really good scouting reports. So I thought we were well prepared. I thought we did the best we could. We had some injuries toward the end of the tournament that hampered our ability a little bit, but the level of volleyball is really good out there, and a lot of those teams have been practicing together for a long time. So there were certainly some teams that were a little crisper and a little cleaner than we were, and obviously when it comes down to that level, those are the things that matter. But it was a great experience. Our guys really appreciated the opportunity to be ambassadors and to go out there and be good ambassadors for USA Volleyball and play some good volleyball. And like you said, we got 3 early wins, which was really exciting. Beat the host country Bahrain in front of the huge Bahrainese crowd, which is pretty cool, and then able to beat Puerto Rico and beat Tunisia, and then played Egypt's last round of pool play and actually won the first set, but they turned it on and we weren't able to capitalize for the end of that match, and that put us into a crossover match with a really good French team. And I know Brad Keller watched every touch of every point they played, and we had an incredible scouting report ready for them, but they were just a little more skilled than us, and we couldn't rebound. And that put us up against China, I believe, who I really think we had our chances. Unfortunately, we did have a few injuries in that match that slowed us down a little bit. And I think after that put us to Puerto Rico the second time, which was a bummer. We had some injuries, and they played great. The opposite, Gabriel Garcia, who's going to BYU next year, he played fantastic. I think he had 26 kills or something that night, and they were able to edge us out in a 4-set match. And then we finished up with Cuba, which was a nice win for us. I mean, losing to Cuba last year in 5 in Cuba, getting to avenge that win, and kind of a nice sort of sweet way to finish out the trip, left us with a smile on our face and a good feeling. So it was great volleyball, and we appreciated the opportunity, and I know all the guys had a good time, and everyone got better at volleyball. So we really thankful for the trip.
Yeah, talking about your injuries, I believe towards the end of the tournament, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were down to basically 9 active players. When was the last time you've coached a competitive match where you've only had 9 players on your entire team?
It did happen pretty quick. Parker Makesh, our starting libero, suffered an injury to his knee, and we weren't exactly sure what it was, but we had a great doctor with us, and we just felt, we're not sure what the problem is, but knees are tricky, so we didn't want to risk anything. So we had to come up with a substitute for the libero, and Brandon Browning stepped in and did a fantastic job. But in that same match, I think it was Devin Jocelyn, who had been playing fantastic, actually came off and to play some defense, and I think it was Joel Steinmiller had dove for a ball. There was a pile of guys on the ground, and Devin went up for a bick and sprained his ankle on top of a guy. But so he went down, and then the next match, Sam Lewis had some knee issues, and so we pretty much the staff was joking because we had such a competitive group of guys, and they were so close. Every match, the staff would sit up for hours the night watching film and looking at stats, trying to pick a starting lineup. And then by the end, the conversations got a lot shorter because we had 2 starting middles, and we only had 2 healthy outsides, and there really were many less conversations to be had. But I got to credit the staff. Did an incredible job. I mean, sometimes when adversity hits, I think it's a human reaction to complain or say, "Woe is me," and but Coach Edwards and Coach Keller did an incredible job just putting out these scouting reports and said, "Hey, this is how you beat this team, and we can beat this team. This is how we're going to do it." And I think the guys really followed their lead and said, "Okay, let's put our hard hat on and let's go play volleyball." So, I don't think if we had kept that kind of mindset in the beginning, we could have beaten Cuba in the end. So I was really pleased with how it turned out.
Coach, I do want to ask you about the UC Irvine recruit, Joel Sneedmiller. You look at his play throughout the tournament, had more than 100 kills. What was he able to do to be so offensively successful?
Joel's an interesting guy because last year he played okay in the training camp. We weren't sure if he was going to be a starter for us or not, and then he was really one of our most productive guys in the tournament down in Cuba. And the same thing happened this year. He was okay, pretty good in the training camp, and then when the lights turned on and it was tournament time, he was fantastic. He hits a heavy ball and he has a good range and he hits a variety of shots, and I think he stays behind the ball and has pretty good vision. But he just doesn't get rattled. That was a pretty big stage against Bahrain. There was, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand, 2,000 people in the stands. It was packed. A lot of noisemakers, that kind of thing, and he just played real confident, real calm, and real cool and collected. So, yeah, he's going to be great for UC Irvine. He's a real good guy. And, we made him captain this year, and I think that helps him kind of step out of his shell a little bit, become more of a vocal leader with the guys. I think that helps him become more of a competitor on the court, too. But, yeah, he was great for us. He was a fantastic player, and I'm excited to see what he does in college.
Yeah, Coach, I do want to ask a little bit of a broader question because, unique time in this country's history. So what was the reaction from the fans and just locals when you're around the community, that your team received, as you guys being Americans in the Middle East?
Yeah, we got nothing but love from everybody. We had, from our bus drivers fell in love with Theo. Theo would sit in the front of our bus, and we would play American music with our iPhones into this van, and we would dance with them and stuff. And our security guard became friendly with us, playing games and stuff. And yeah, pretty much everywhere we went, everyone was really interested in America, American culture, and excited about us to talk to us. And so, we really enjoyed it. And we had a lot of questions. It was really interesting for us to see on the cultural day off. We went to a mosque and had a really good tour there and learned some of the things about the Muslim faith, and it was an eye-opening experience, and I think it was so good for so many young guys to get that experience, not just on the volleyball side of things, but culturally as well. So yeah, we were incredibly well received, and just a lot of good energy towards us, which was really nice, and we tried to pay it back and engage with those guys, and it was great.
All right, Coach, and one final question here before we let you go. Obviously these players still have a lot of volleyball left in their careers, but 10 years from now, would you be surprised if you see anyone who was on this team playing on the U.S. national team and maybe in the Olympics?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I think there's a bunch of guys, and like you said, it's really hard to tell how guys progress in through college and stuff, but I think there's a handful of guys on that group that you could see. Certainly, I think the bulk of them are going to make a run to be on the junior team in the next cycle. And then I think you'll see a strong portion of them in the World University Games and the U23 stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple guys you see down the road, on the national team. I think Sam Lewis is definitely one that, physically could get it done in the middle. I think Jalen Jasper is another physical specimen who, as he progresses through his college career, could definitely find his way onto the national team. And then the other guys, it's hard to say. It's hard to say how they're going to progress through college, but they show a lot of promise at this level. And it's exciting to see where they go and to say I knew them when they get to those higher levels. So yeah, there's a lot of promise, and we're excited to watch them grow.